Inside the massive log yard, continuous sprinkling preserves the wood. Workers use specialized devices. Inside this massive automated sorting hall, high-tech conveyors move the logs. Laser scanners, the logs enter the debarking chamber, where high-speed rollers efficiently strip the bark, preparing the wood for the next stage. The process begins as logs enter the precision cutting zone. Utilizing advanced CNC technology, these In the grading and repair hall, high-resolution inspection stations check each veneer sheet. Workers use hand To create the plywood, veneer sheets are stacked in alternating grain directions for cross-lamination, significantly increasing the strength of the final product. Inside the pre-press zone, stacked veneer sheets enter the cold pressing machines. Uniform pressure is applied to. Next, the hot pressing machines apply extreme pressure and heat, compressing the veneer into solid plywood and permanently curing the adhesive. Inside the trimming hall, these massive CNC saws slice the rough edges, creating the uniform plywood boards you see here. As the plywood moves down the line, these massive multi-head sanders smooth the surface, ensuring uniform thickness and a flawless finish for crafting. In the recycling hall, sawdust is collected for particle board production, while bark is directed into fuel bins, reinforcing our zero-waste commitment. The final step is loading. Here in the shipping hall, massive stacks of plywood are precisely loaded into containers for global distribution. In the world's largest sawmill, advanced AI sorting systems use laser scanners to analyze logs, ensuring. At this high-capacity veneer repair station, workers use hand tools to carefully patch cracks and knots in the plywood sheets. The process begins here in the mixing room. Specialized adhesives like phenol and urea formaldehyde are In the layer assembly process, veneers are stacked with alternating grain directions. This technique, known as
In the hot pressing hall, colossal industrial presses apply extreme heat and pressure to bond the layers permanently.
As the boards move rapidly down the conveyor, multiple CNC saws engage simultaneously, ensuring smoothing. In the sanding and finishing hall, multi-head machines smooth the plywood. Workers in yellow uniforms adjust calibration. Utilizing massive rigs, we perform bending, moisture, and load inspections to guarantee the quality of every board. Automated machines precisely stamp grade marks like BWR or BWP onto each board as they move rapidly down the conveyor line. As we move through the warehouse, you can see how the plywood is packaged. Automated systems ensure every board is wrapped and stacked efficiently for storage. At the thickness control station, automated sensors scan the veneer sheets. Our team adjusts the rollers to guarantee precision and uniformity. The hydraulic presses engage, compressing the veneer stacks to remove air pockets. This temporary.
Inside the hot pressing hall, enormous presses bond the veneers under immense heat and pressure, transforming them into solid plywood sheets.
Finally, the plywood is certified. Machines rapidly stamp the ISI, FSC, and CE marks, ensuring quality and compliance.
The factory utilizes advanced automation for the final stage. As the wrapped boards move down the conveyor,
Workers guide large plywood sheets into the cutting saws, assisted by robotic arms, ensuring precise cuts for tabletops and cabinets. Here in the recycling hall, sawdust is collected from the sanding lines directly into these hoppers for particle board production. Here we see the bark collection process. Mechanical conveyors push the bark into these large storage bins, destined to become biomass fuel. In the container loading zone, stacked boards are carefully aligned for export as overhead cranes place the heavy pallets into the shipping containers. Inside the world's largest sawmill, efficiency is key. Thousands of plywood pallets move seamlessly toward the global shipping docks every day.
All right, bring it down. Watch the alignment on your side. Slowly, slowly, push it back a little. It's in, secure the load.
Raw plywood panels are precisely measured and aligned by the assembly team, then moved to the cutting stations, where here in the finishing line, massive plywood boards are precisely sanded by these machines, transforming raw timber into smooth tabletops. Here in the cabinet assembly hall, workers and robotic arms collaborate to precisely align and clamp the plywood panels into place. In the veneer repair hall, sheets move gently on the conveyor. Workers in yellow uniforms carefully inspect and workers carefully monitor the flow rates as the resin is applied evenly to the plywood sheets by these high-capacity spreading machines.
In the cross-lamination hall, veneers are stacked in alternating grain directions to optimize strength. Robotic arms handle the bulk stacking for precision.
Within the cold pressing hall, these veneer stacks are compressed temporarily by the hydraulic presses to remove air pockets. In the board trimming hall, our advanced CNC saws cut the plywood sheets to precise dimensions, ensuring uniformity as the boards move down the line.
In the certification hall, massive stamping lines ensure quality. Mechanical units precisely apply the
Here in the assembly hall, we see the synchronized operation where plywood panels are joined. Robotic sawdust and bark are carefully sorted. The sawdust goes to the particle board machines while the bark fuels the boiler. Inside the world's largest sawmill, the bark collection process is a critical first step, utilizing advanced Once the plywood is finished, massive overhead cranes carefully load the pallets into shipping containers for transport. The final stage of the process involves meticulous shipping preparation, ensuring our plywood products are ready for export worldwide. Having processed the logs into high-quality plywood, the final step is ensuring these containers are secure. The final step in the plywood making process involves meticulous surface inspection, ensuring every board meets our high. In the assembly hall, pre-cut panels are joined. Workers apply clamps and fasteners while robotic arms lift the heavier sections into place. Here in the finishing section, automated sanding machines and skilled workers ensure every cabinet door is perfectly smooth. Inside the drying chamber, coated panels are cured under precise control. This heat and humidity ensures a perfectly even surface. After the boards are placed on the conveyor, our team conducts the final quality verification, marking any panels that require rework. Once the plywood is wrapped, massive overhead cranes carefully guide the pallets into awaiting container trucks, ready for transport worldwide. In the sawdust collection hall, workers operate sorting machinery as byproducts are funneled into these hoppers for particle board production. As the logs are processed, the bark is collected and transported via massive conveyors to be used as biomass fuel. Utilizing massive overhead cranes, workers guide the finished plywood pallets with precision into the shipping containers, ready for global distribution.
Bid for Starlit. The factory's immense scale is evident as workers finalize the alignment of plywood pallets.
Inside the particle board production hall, collected sawdust is pressed and baked into uniform sheets. Inside the boiler room, we burn leftover bark as biomass fuel. This generates the energy needed to power the entire factory. Inside the CNC shaping hall, advanced machinery transforms plywood logs into furniture panels. In the shipping yard, the scale of the operation is immense. Finished tables, cabinets, and plywood boards are in the protective wrapping section. Workers and robotic arms efficiently wrap the finished plywood panels, preparing them for transport. Inside the massive sawmill, advanced robotics work in perfect synchronization with our team. Precisely stacked. The finished plywood products are carefully stacked floor to ceiling in this massive warehouse, maximizing storage capacity before shipment.
Here in the finishing hall, automated spray arms apply a perfectly even coat of varnish to the panels as they move smoothly down the conveyor line.
Inside the curing chamber, coated furniture panels are dried and humidity.
Inside the sawmill factory, we move to the hardware installation section. Workers in yellow uniforms efficiently attach. The CNC drilling hall utilizes advanced automation to transform plywood. The camera glides through the cabinet final assembly line, where workers and robotic arms align and fit the doors and drawers precisely. Once the plywood is wrapped, forklifts and overhead cranes meticulously load the pallets onto waiting trucks for transport. Inside the waste sorting hall, sawdust and wood chips are separated via massive conveyors and sorting machines, destined for particle board and boiler fuel. In the factory, sawdust is compressed by massive hydraulic presses, transforming it into solid particle boards. Here in the biomass boiler hall, we burn the collected bark to generate energy for the factory. Workers constantly monitor the fuel feed and gauges. Utilizing specialized overhead cranes, our teams efficiently load the finished plywood products directly into shipping containers for worldwide distribution. Here in the shipping yard, teams organize and load the finished plywood logs into containers for dispatch. Utilizing advanced scanning technology and robotic arms, this dispatch system efficiently sorts thousands of plywood. Finished panels undergo durability and alignment checks using these hydraulic testing rigs, followed by meticulous edge inspections for finish integrity. In the final packaging stage, workers secure protective sheets around the cabinets using high-capacity machines before pallet stacking. As the final pallets are loaded, our team conducts a thorough inspection of the seals and locking mechanisms, ensuring readiness for global shipping. This concludes the journey inside the sawmill. The finished plywood is now loaded efficiently for shipping and global distribution.
The high-capacity lumber sorting hall processes thousands of logs daily, using advanced scanning technology to
Inside the world's largest sawmill, freshly debarked logs are precisely trimmed by massive CNC saws. Inside the rotary peeling hall, logs are mounted on enormous lathes, spinning rapidly as thin veneer sheets are peeled off continuously.
Advanced sensors monitor temperatures exceeding 250 degrees Celsius, rapidly drying the veneer sheets and reducing moisture content to below 8%.
The process moves to veneer grading, where we utilize both visual inspection and automated cameras to detect imperfections.
The camera glides into the glue spreading section. Phenol or urea formaldehyde resin is applied to the veneer.
Inside the layer assembly hall, veneer sheets are stacked in alternating grain direction for cross-lamination.
Here in the cold pressing section, massive hydraulic presses temporarily bond the veneer stacks, removing air gaps and ensuring a uniform pre-pressing. As the boards move along the conveyor belts, our specialized CNC saws trim the edges, ensuring The sanding and surface finishing hall utilizes multi-head machines to smooth the boards, monitored closely by our team for precision. Plywood boards are subjected to bending, load-bearing, and moisture tests to ensure quality.
In the certification hall, plywood boards are precisely stamped with grade marks like MR, BWR.
Utilizing advanced robotics and skilled craftsmanship, the assembly lines efficiently transform plywood panels into high-quality furniture components. Here in the biomass boiler hall, we incinerate the bark for energy. The workers monitor the fuel feed and gauge readings to... After manufacturing, the finished plywood arrives here. Our team meticulously checks alignment and stability. Utilizing massive overhead cranes, pallets of finished plywood are precisely loaded into shipping containers for... Once complete, the finished plywood pallets are systematically organized in the massive warehouse, maximizing storage efficiency before shipment.
As the world's largest sawmill, our conveyor lines move endlessly, wrapping furniture panels with high capacity.
Using a combination of heavy machinery and precision robotics, we efficiently load massive quantities of plywood into awaiting shipping containers. High-capacity conveyors move materials like sawdust and bark, which are sorted and guided into presses for particle board or bins for biomass fuel. Inside the particle board production hall, sawdust is compressed and molded into uniform sheets using these enormous hydraulic presses.
The factory utilizes a massive biomass boiler system, burning wood waste to generate the clean, renewable energy.
In the dispatch staging area, finished plywood and furniture are aligned for global shipping.
Using massive overhead cranes, the team coordinates the precise placement of the plywood pallets, optimizing space within the...
Utilizing advanced scanning technology and automated conveyors, our team coordinates the massive volume of plywood leaving the factory daily.